All right. What is up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about water, and more water. I want to show you guys some simple things that you can do, some hacks, things to take in consideration in treating water or purifying water and storing water. So with that said, let me show you some of the stuff that I have set up in my kitchen here. All right. Okay. I'm just going to give you guys a brief overlook of all the stuff that's either in my house or in my car or on my person, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to show you some simple hacks and some other stuff. But first and foremost, this is a trick question. Do you have to boil water to kill off bacteria and viruses to make it safe to drink? And the answer is no, you do not. Now, I will provide links in the comment section so you can review it yourself. And this is what I'm going to say. This is my disclaimer. Research the information yourself. Just don't take my word or some other person's word. Research it yourself. You know, I try to research as much as I can, and I believe in the science of it. Okay? So I'm going to show you a little thing that I printed out off the internet, and I'll provide a link to it. Now, this is called water pasteurization. And this technique is used heavily third world countries like Africa, where they don't have, you know, great water purification. And if you look close here, you can actually start killing bacteria off at 131 degrees Fahrenheit. So from 131 to 140, all your bacteria can be killed off. From 140 to 149, all your viruses can be killed off. So the short answer to that is, if you can maintain 149 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 6 minutes, you'll kill all bacteria and viruses that will make you sick. Okay? If you are using some type of canister stove or something like that and you have a thermometer, just pretend like you're cooking chicken. Take it up to 165 degrees for 15 seconds and you should be good to go. Now, this thing here that I got pictured up here, this is called a WAPI, or water pasteurization indicator. It's basically a clear tube filled with soybean oil, but it melts directly at 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So keep that in mind. All right. Now, this is a quick hack for you people who like to camp. Okay, if you like to backpack or whatever, here is one of my favorite stoves. It's a Jetboil. And what I have on top of it is just a cheap little meat thermometer. You just stick it on top of there. Heat your water to 165 degrees for 15 seconds. Turn it off. Boom. Now you got water to add to your dehydrated meals, make coffee, tea, hot chocolate, whatever. And I'm going to tell you why that's a good thing. Because when you're using a fuel canister, you want to just heat up the water and you want to conserve your fuel. Plus, the water is going to cool down a whole lot sooner if you only heat it to 165 degrees versus taking it to a full boil at 200 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. So not only will it be cooler for you to drink sooner, but you conserve fuel. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you another hack. A lot of people don't know, but with the pure filters, even though it's designed to just make your water taste better, these have been proven to take out Cryptosporidium and Giardia. Now I'm going to show you a quick hack. Let's say, for instance, you know, you have to purify water real quick, or you have to start storing water. You just take this little thing here, this pure pitcher, and you put it in your 7 or 5 gallon thing. Stick it in the bathtub. Turn the water on so it drips. And overnight, what you can do is, since it's 7 gallons, time how long it takes to fill up a pint of water and multiply that by 56. That should give you 7 gallons. So that way you can set your timer saying, hey, it's going to take me 2 hours to fill this with a small drip in my bathtub. Then that way you don't waste any water. Okay. Another quick hack with this pure filter is I used a 1 gallon Ziploc bag And I basically used Scotch 3M electrical tape, and I made me a cheap water filter. Filter costs $7. They're rated for 40 gallons. In a pinch, in an emergency, you know, you can have this, and you know, you can have a way to basically filter out the big junk. Like I said, it's supposed to take out bacteria. All right. So I want to talk about some other things here. Zero water. This is a water purifier. The bad thing about it, it's expensive, and you're only going to get roughly 16 gallons. Okay, so just take that into consideration. Now, they do also make a bottle. You just fill this up, but you get 4 big gulps. But it is a water purifier. Okay? Other things to take in consideration is, like, for instance, like I said, when it comes to boiling water or heating water, you know, let's say, for instance, that you're out traveling overseas or whatever. This is what I recommend to take with you. Now, this is a Klean Kanteen. It's 64 ounces. Okay? Now, for instance, I use MSR water purification tablets. Each tablet is rated for 64 ounces. So that's half a gallon. So those go hand in hand. If I run out of tablets, I can heat my water up in that. This is made by Stanley, 19 bucks. I forget how much I paid for the Klean Kanteen. Kind of expensive. But the Stanley half gallon stainless steel bottle was only 19 bucks at Walmart. Okay. These two here are water filters, meaning they only take out bacteria. I love the Sawyer. I keep this in my car. I use that most of the time. But the Life Straw is pretty decent too. But it doesn't last as long. And next to this here is another water purifier. It's made by Gray. Now, this uses different types of inserts. The orange are designed for purifying water. Again, these are rated for 40 gallons. But if you're going to travel internationally, I recommend taking at least this Gray water bottle and taking the Klean Kanteen. That should cover all your needs. You know, and if you want to get fancy, you know, you can take the Aquapure, which I highly recommend because I love this thing, because this could treat 5 gallons of water at a time on 20 liters. Now, the thing about this is, like, it's also solar powered. So on a full charge, it's supposed to do 150 liters. Okay? So if you were to run out of juice, it's got a solar battery. You charge it for an hour. You can after 1 hour, I think you can treat half a gallon of water. Okay? And instead of using regular table salt, I used Himalayan salt. So that's a little hack, okay? And I'll talk about that later. So, but there's different things here. You know, using colloidal silver. 1 teaspoon per gallon, wait 6 minutes. Now this is 30 parts per million. Some people say, you know, you can use 10 parts per million. And right now there's a lot of controversy. How does ionized silver or colloidal silver kill bacteria? They're saying they can kill up to 650 different types of viruses, bacteria, fungi, mold. So that's up in the air. So just think about that. Okay. Ketel. This has different settings on what temperature you want to make for different things. Like if you want to make decaffeinated, you know, green tea, white tea, whatever, you can preset it. But like I said, you know, you put this on 175, heat up your water, you know, it's going to kill off your bacteria and viruses. This Better Homes and Garden coffee maker heats the water up to 160 degrees. Okay? I got UV applications. This here's a SteraPen. This one runs on CR123 batteries. I have 2 other ones that run on AA, and I have 2 more that run on USB. And this works on a light spectrum of 254 nanometers. And basically, how does ultraviolet light kill pathogens? It basically destroys their DNA so they can't reproduce. Okay? I love this. I keep this in my car. It's made by Camelback. It's charged up USB, but it's also a UV treatment. You fill it up here, you turn it on, 90 seconds later, all the water inside the bottle is good. Now, this is the downfall of using UV. The water has to be clear. Since these run on batteries, if you run out of juice, then you're screwed. If you break it, you drop it, you break the bulb, you're screwed. If it's colder than 40 degrees, the batteries might not work. So with that said, if you're going to use UV, always have a backup. Have a mechanical backup. Have either water drops or water tablets. And know how to boil water or heat water to whatever you feel is necessary. Okay? Now, let me talk about the different types of water. If you're a prepper, and of course, you know, people are storing water and said, like, okay, here's your water. Oh my God, all this water here. Water, water, water. Okay. Now, do you have to add water preservative to water? Only if you don't want to filter the water later. The water that you have in your jug has been on this planet for almost 5 billion years. So consider that. As long as you have a way to filter and purify your water, don't really worry about, okay, hey, I need to, you know, put preservatives in my water to prevent bacteria from, you know, growing in my water storage containers. Okay? Just make sure you have a way to purify and treat your water. If you have water sitting there for 5 years or whatever, you know, if it smells bad, smells funky, use common sense, run it through a filter, run it through a purifier, and you're good to go. Okay? Now, FEMA will tell you that you should store 1 gallon of water per person for up to 3 days. But you look what's going on in the world right now. Germany is telling their citizens to go ahead and store up at least 10 days worth of provisions. Food, water, emergency supplies, whatever. Something's going to happen. Okay? So pay attention to the news. All right? This area here is a water bob. It's for your bathtub. This will hold 100 gallons. I got 2 of them. I got 2 bathtubs. So in emergency, fill up your bathtub. Great way to store water. If you live in an apartment or whatever and you don't have a rain harvesting system, you know, that's something to consider. Okay? Himalayan salt. Let me talk about this. Using Himalayan salt with distilled water. Now, the Koreans will call this dead water, not living water. Living water is something that's oxygenated with water and minerals from the mountains and streams. But when you buy distilled water, it's void of anything in it. Okay? And this is great, like, for instance, for people who have sleep apnea, you know, whatever. But this is what I'm saying. If you're going to be drinking a lot of distilled water, or you want to distill water outside using the sun, you know, using a plastic tarp or whatever, add half a teaspoon of Himalayan salt to a gallon of water. Shake it up. And a good example that I can give you on that is I have this 3-liter Ocean Spray bottle. You see that black mark? That's half an inch from the top that I marked. That's exactly half a gallon. So I carry one of these in my car. Or if I'm going to go hiking, I'll carry this. I'll strap this to the back of my backpack. I'll throw in a water purification tablet, which is good for half a gallon. And after 30 minutes, I would shake it up. You're going to oxygenate the water. And what that does is when you, just the same principle as like when you put a air stone in your aquarium and you provide oxygen to the fish. When you shake this up, science says that your body's going to absorb that water 30% faster. So that would help you stay hydrated and prevent some type of, you know, dehydration. For the preppers out there, stock up on baking soda. Okay? Now, what's so important about baking soda? It actually can ward off, you know, muscle cramps and stuff like that with lactic acid. Professional athletes now are taking regular baking soda, maybe like a quarter teaspoon, and adding it to their water. They're saying that if your body is alkaline, that you can fight off diseases and bacteria and even cancer. All right? So take that in consideration. Baking soda is a good prepper thing to have. You can use it for brushing your teeth, you know, stomach, you know, acid reflux, you know, muscle cramps, you know, personal hygiene. Mix it with some coconut oil. Good stuff. Pedialyte. Better than Gatorade, Powerade, any of those sports drinks. Okay? This has got probiotics, plus it's got electrolytes, it's got zinc and stuff like that. So like if you have a bout of diarrhea, food poisoning, whatever, this is going to get you back up to snuff. So stock up on some Pedialyte. You don't have to buy this brand here. You can buy the store brand at Walmart or H-E-B, whatever. Cheaper brands, you know, almost like $1 difference sometimes. if you're going to buy bottled water, if you can afford it, and I normally don't do this, I just bought it for demonstration purposes only. Evian and Fuji water are the top 2 ranking waters that are supposed to provide the most benefits in reference to making your body alkaline. They're saying that if your pH level is 7.5 or higher, you're doing good. If your body is acidic, that's where you can get sick, diseases, etc., etc., etc. Okay, but with baking soda, you can make your own water alkaline. You know, you don't have to sit there and buy all this stuff here. You know, this one says 8.8. You know, I forget what this one is and what Fuji water is, but those 2 are supposed to be the top ranking water bottles. So not all water bottles is the same. And since we're talking about water bottles, I want to talk about some of the different markings on your plastics. Okay, there are 7 different classifications of plastics. Okay, 1 through 7. 1 and 2 are the best. 4 and 5 are okay. Stay away from 3, 6, and 7. Okay, I will provide a link in the comment section below so you can read up on it. When I talk about this bottle is BPA free and stuff like that, what that basically is, when you heat up certain plastics, they release toxins. Okay, and some of these plastics can leach out a synthetic form of estrogen. Not great for men, maybe not so bad for women, but if you're a man, you definitely don't want a whole bunch of estrogen in your system. Okay? So take that into consideration. With that said, I just want you to take in consideration some things that you can do. Here's something that a lot of people don't think about. This right here is a 50-pint dehumidifier. Now it has a 2-gallon storage tray on the bottom. In a 24-hour period, when I plug this in, this will get me 2 gallons of water. Now it can produce up to 8 gallons of water depending on the humidity in your house. And if you got it set up where you can have a big storage container or just run it outside, you can get up to 8 gallons of water. But if you ever use a dehumidifier to gather water from the air, treat it like you're treating dirty, nasty water, because it's just like a mechanical living being. It's going to suck in dust, pollen, dust mites, pet dander, whatever germs are floating in the air. So yeah, it's going to get you water, but that water is still going to be dirty. So make sure you treat it, purify it, and get all the impurities out of it before you drink it. Okay? Add some Himalayan salt. Now this is just a little setup that I have, that I use all the time, because where I live, I have super hard water. I have a biomechanical biofilter, then it goes through a citrus water softener, and then I have a carbon filter underneath my sink to take out chemicals. But the water's still hard and I still get a lot of junk. Now what I have on here is a Sawyer water filter. This one here is rated for 1,000,000 gallons according to the company, and it's back flushable. Now let me tell you about this technology. It uses hollow fiber technology that was borrowed from the kidney dialysis machine. I love this thing. You know, I have several of these things here. But this is a food grade 5-gallon bucket, plastic colander. This is a regular $3 cheap coffee filter. So you pour your dirty water in here, and these things are rated to 0.1 microns absolute, which is pretty damn good. That's going to take care of all your bacteria. It will not take out viruses, but it will take out bacteria. And this is a little simple hack that I do here. This right here is a 2.5-gallon water jug, and I use these to fill up my Berkey. My Berkey is a water filter, a water purifier. This right here is a coffee filter that I got from RNI. It's made from brass, fine mesh. But when I do fill this up, I basically just stick that in there. I know exactly where I need to measure on how much water I need to put in my bucket so I don't overflow, because I've made that mistake before. And here I have a water alarm that is designed to put next to your water heater. It uses a 9-volt battery. It's good for 5 years. But if the water started spilling over this right here, it will wet the paper towel and it'll set off an alarm. So that way, I made a mistake one time of doing that, And I was playing Call of Duty and I wasn't paying attention. Next thing I came in the kitchen, I had 2 gallons of water all over the floor. So I learned my lesson. So those are just some simple things that you can do, depending if you want to store water. If you have a problem with mold growing in your containers, you could try using bleach, but bleach will not totally get rid of mold. What I recommend is soaking your containers, rinsing your containers out with white vinegar. That's some good stuff. Okay? That would help clean out your stuff. I will give a class just on how Bounty paper towels can literally save your ass. But that's a separate class. But what I did is just a cheap filter. I took 2 yogurt containers, I cut them off, and I basically put 1 Bounty paper towel as a pre-filter. You can use a bandana, t-shirt, pantyhose, stocking, whatever. But I can throw it away, I ain't worried about it. If you can use Clorox bleach, regular Clorox bleach, not scented or anything like that, 8 drops per gallon. Shake it up. Let some of the water get over the threads of your container or whatever. Wait 30 minutes and smell it. It should have a slight chlorine smell. Now, I'm not a big fan of using chemicals. So if I'm going to use Clorox bleach, I will run it through one of the pure filters, water jugs, or the zero water to take out the chlorine. Okay? Now, for a survival kit to have in your car or in your backpack, this right here is my kit. It's color-coded. I got a blue container made by Coleman. This is my water kit. So, of course, I got a 64-ounce clean canteen. I got water drops. This is strictly using gravity fed. Same thing. Hollow fiber. I have a sturdy pin that's wrapped in aluminum foil. And then I got a bottle here that I can use the sturdy pin. This is a Duracool cloth. You wrap around your neck, but you can use it like a sponge to soak up water. This right here, I will use as a last resort, but this here will out-filter anything on the planet. This is a life pack, and this uses a process called forward osmosis. And it basically uses a syrup solution to draw water molecules out of anything dirty. I read a story about a special forces team in Afghanistan. They had one of these that were out of water. So what they did was they all urinated in the bag. And this will produce up to 9 liters of water. It does have a shelf life. If you run out of syrup, you can use honey or jam, okay, to squeeze out the most out of this thing here. But this one pack here will get you at least 9 liters of water. That can mean the difference of life or death. I've had this system. This is a First Need Deluxe. This is a water purifier, but it can only do, with the new filters, 180 gallons. So what I did was I modded it. This is one of the original Sawyer water filters. So I attached this to the First Need Deluxe to extend the life. Since this is back flushable, this will take out all the big chunks, all the bacteria and stuff. And then this will purify it. So this is my water kit. There's certain things that I do. Something that I carry with me everywhere I go. I have in my wallet a turkey roasting bag that can hold a 24-pound turkey. And I carry water purification tablets in a little tiny Ziploc pill pouch. No matter where I go, that is always in my possession. It's in my wallet. The turkey roasting bag is heat resistant to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty tough if it can hold a 24-pound turkey. So these are just little tips and tricks that you can use for yourself, for your family, to make sure that you got your water needs taken care of. Now, I do want to say one thing. There are over 100,000 different man-made chemicals, and a lot of those end up leaching into our aquifers, our oceans, our rivers, our ponds, our streams, and even in our drinking water. And I'll tell you a true story. When I was a young staff sergeant and I got my second PCS move to Korea, they made me the environmental officer for the camp. I was stationed at Camp Humphreys. So here I am, a staff sergeant, E6, and I was the highest ranking staff sergeant by rank in the country because I was holding a major slot, an 04 slot, because I worked directly for the post commander as the environmental officers. And let me tell you, we had an incident, we had an aviation unit at Camp Humphreys. They had aircraft and they had a jet fuel spill, and Camp Humphreys is surrounded by rice paddies. And that stuff was starting to leach out into the rice fields, and the post commander was freaking and geeking, and we had to act fast. We didn't have, the fire department didn't have all the proper equipment to handle a massive jet fuel spill. But we did have a bunch of these so-called 3M petroleum absorbent pads, and I had the Korean nationals make me up something with a ringer on a 55-gallon drum. And we literally had to line the river with sandbags, put a layer of this stuff on there, put another layer of sandbags, and we did 4 or 5 layers, and that right there soaked up like almost 200 gallons of jet fuel that had leached into the water. So this is something to consider. That pack right there, I think is like $50 for a big box. But what I'm going to say to you is that I don't care how much you purify your water or whatever, there are going to be trace minerals of chemicals and pesticides and medicine. That's why they say don't flush your medicine down the toilet. Dispose of it properly. Don't do your oil change at the car wash and let all the oil dump into the drain. You know, I'm not a big fan of using pesticides on my grass or around my house, because eventually that stuff ends up in the drinking water. You look at all the things happening with people in California with birth defects, or here in Texas where people were born with just a brainstem, and it has to do with people or companies dumping solvent in the water. So what I'm going to say to you is respect our planet. You know, don't throw trash out there. Anything that you throw, cigarette butts, if you got a leak on your car, take care of it. Because if you don't, eventually you're just poisoning yourself. You're poisoning everyone else around you. So take that into consideration. So with that said, if you guys got any questions or comments, hit me up. And I'm going to provide some other links, like stuff like using cilantro to purify water, or the moringa seed from a tree that it can also purify water. You know. And if you look there, that's my dog's water bowl. I got 2 half-ounce silver rounds in there. And I give you a quick little thing on history about why silver is good. Not only is it God's money and you can use it to barter, but during the colonial days when the kings and queens of England ate, they ate on real silverware. They lived twice as long as the peasants who were using wooden spoons and plates that harbored bacteria. So there is some science about silver killing stuff. NASA uses silver. Every airline that you fly on, they electroplate their water tanks with silver. They use silver particles in clothing and water filters. They electroplate, some of the hospitals now are going to electroplate their doorknobs and handles, because within 6 minutes, it kills off bacteria and viruses and germs. So, anyway, if you guys got any questions, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to answer them. By no means do I consider myself super expert. I consider myself knowledgeable. I'm a student for life, and if you got something that's different I can learn from, by all means hit me up. Anyway, this is Survival Sensei. You guys be safe out there.